So just following on from our group lesson, I'm just going to recap some of the things we talked about. So in the wedge section in my bag, I have got 4 wedges. So if I just ignore my pitching wedge, and I've got a 50-degree wedge, a 54-degree wedge and a 58-degree wedge, and they have slightly different amounts of bounce on them. I don't know whether you get that on the camera. So my 58 has got 8 degrees of bounce and my 54 has got 12 degrees of bounce. So the lower the number in bounce, they're good for firm conditions and for players with a shallow angle of attack. The higher bounce is better for players with a steeper angle of attack or in softer conditions. So I tend not to use this one in the winter, the lower bounce one. I tend to use the higher bounce one in the winter, and I use both in the summer because this higher bounce one is really good in the soft sand bunkers. And then I can open the face on my 58 degree. So when we're talking about technique for chipping, once we've selected the right wedge, actually if I added my 7, 8 and 9 iron into the equation, all of these clubs will do a good job for us. They will just, from the loft of the club, the higher lofted clubs will literally go higher to start with, land on the green, and they won't go as far. If I use my 7 iron, then that's not going to go very much in the air and it will roll a lot of the way. We'll talk a little bit about the posture as well. If I put this golf club on my back, then my back's not completely straight. There is a gap here and obviously there's a gap here. But for the purpose of this exercise, when I lean forwards in my posture position, I'm keeping everything the same. So my back angle wants to stay the same, lean forwards, a slight bit of knee flex, and then I'm in a good position for hitting the shot. If we go to the ball, the other things for chipping that we would like is we can go further down the grip. That will give us a little bit more control on these shorter shots, and we would like the ball position for most of these shots to be central, and your weight will be slightly left side. And this is for a right-handed golfer. We've got some left-handed golfers as well, so it'd be the opposite way around. Ball position central. As I move my weight slightly to the left, if I just drop the ball, you can see the ball is just dropping on that left-hand side. A lot of the problems I might see with chipping is that the weight goes on this side and that changes the angle of the club, and normally what it does, instead of the club being in that position, the club can end up here, so the leading edge comes up and hits sort of too high up on the golf ball. So we need to make sure that we get that setup position correct with posture, making sure that ball position is central, and the feet need to be close together. Feet close together is really important for these short shots. It's very difficult when you've got your feet close together to make a sliding movement. I'm gonna fall over and lose my balance if I try and do that. If my feet are too wide, I can start sliding all over the place. Where we have a shorter club, the angle of attack is a little bit steeper anyway, so it's more difficult to hit these short shots if your feet are wider. So in that position there, I'm basically just turning on the spot. So what we'll do, we'll just move the camera position from behind. We'll have a look at a couple of chips with a couple of different lofts. I've picked my 58 degree wedge for the first flag that we can see there, where I've got more rough and then the apron to go over. It's quite a difficult shot, so more loft means that I can travel over most of the rough before it lands, and hopefully it lands softly. So we'll try this one with more loft. It's quite a delicate shot, so hopefully you're not in this position many times. You can see there, just with that loft, it helped us stop the ball in time. I'm going to play that same shot again. And now I've got my pitching wedge, just to show you, if we don't have clubs with enough loft in our bag, then watch how much more difficult it is. I'm going to really try and hit this close. Tried to hit that really delicately and it's gone to the other flag. So what that's telling me is if I don't have the right club, the game is more difficult. Now I'm going to try that again. To try and go to this first flag with my pitching wedge, I think I'd have to land it in the rough. And then we're in danger of leaving it short. We'll try again. A little bit further. You can see there, it's going to take a lot more practice to be good with a pitching wedge in the wrong position. So you need to use the right club at the right time. So we'll move on to a longer shot now. Whilst I'm hitting these shots, nothing changes for my technique. The ball position central, and you can see the hands are slightly pushed forwards into the position just inside of the left thigh. I'm literally just turning on the spotter now. My hands, my arms, my shoulders, it doesn't make any difference how far back or how short I swing. We're not getting wristy, we're just allowing that movement, just like almost like putting. So I've got the pitching wedge and I'm going to go for the pin towards the back of the green there, and the pitching wedge will be a club that we can use for this distance. That one looks good. Go on. Oh, nearly on the camera. Okay. I mentioned before about different lofts, and I've got my most lofted club again that you might want to try this shot. If you open the face up on your club, you can see that the face is aiming almost towards the sky. If I use my normal chipping technique and open the face and just slide the club underneath the ball, you can see it lands quite softly. So if we can play this shot, then it means that you can play some delicate shots. That's a better one. And you can see it's easier for the ball to go straight up in the air. If the lie's not very good, it's quite a difficult shot, but when it's lying in that situation where there's lots of grass underneath it, open the face, slide underneath, and we can see that it goes high, lands softly, and all I'm doing is using my hands, arms and shoulders, turning back and turning through. I'm not doing anything different to my normal chipping technique, I'm just adding loft to it. If you find yourself in a situation where the ball is, you can sort of see there, it's really sitting down, it's not impossible to hit the shot from there. I'll have a go, but the problem is the club might bounce more, we might not get the club underneath, and it might shoot across the green. But we'll see if I can get the club underneath. It wasn't bad, but you might have heard the sound there, it just bounced and shot forwards. So you have to make sure when you're picking a shot like that, make sure it's lying well. So we have mentioned about the grip a couple of times. So the big thing that we would like you to do, we'll swap this round for left-handers as well, because when I talk about my left hand, it's for a right-hander, so obviously right hand for a left-hander. You can see that my left thumb is slightly to the right of centre, and the reason that's really important is when you get to the top of your backswing, that's supporting the club. So actually I can support the club with 2 fingers, whereas if my thumb isn't in that position, then I don't have that support. So we get that left thumb slightly right of centre, and I can see 2 knuckles really easily there. When I put my right hand on, I want to make sure that it's very much in the fingers, and I'm going to cover that left thumb, and you can see left thumb slightly right of centre, right thumb slightly left of centre, and the opposite for left-handers. What that allows the grip to do when I start swinging is they have their own mind almost, that I'm not trying to allow the wrist to do that. My grip's in the right place, my grip pressure is good, so therefore the hands will do what they want to do. I'm not forcing them to do anything. Whereas with putting, we don't want the hands to be moving, so rather than doing that, I've got an overlap on my right hand to left hand there. You could be interlocking, you could be doing baseball. With the putting grip, we want to eliminate some of that wrist movement. So from where I grip normally, all I'm going to do is take my index finger from my left hand, let my right hand completely go on the club, and the index finger on the left hand just goes on the back of the fingers of the right hand, somewhere comfortable. And the effect that has when I'm putting is that my hands, arms and shoulders are now moving without me increasing grip pressure. That's a really nice pendulum. I'm not making this wristy movement, which is more possible. If I go back to my normal grip, it is more possible for there to be that wristy movement there. Now, if you're already doing a putting grip that stops that movement, you might be doing left below right. I might want to put my right finger down the back of my left there. That's the same situation. I'm basically keeping everything moving together as a pendulum.